So we're in lesson 512, where we're calculating percent over 100% and solving percentage problems of a certain number. So it's basically two different lessons involved in one. Let's take the first one. Let's use a nice number like 123. So 123%. So what we know is our first step is to divide, and we need to make this into a fraction. So we have a fraction. We know we need to use powers of 10. And in this case, since it's over 100%, I'm actually going to use 100 as my denominator. Okay? And that means that 123 becomes my numerator. So this is now my fraction. If I want to convert that into a decimal, I have 123 divided by 100, okay, which is going to be 1.23. So that is how I took my percent, my fraction, and my decimal. So that's kind of the basics. It's a review of what we did in the last lesson, and except it's just working with that bigger number, and to remember that it's going to represent that 1 point as my decimal, not 0 point. Now in my second section, we'll work in green for this one. This is where we're solving the percent of a number. So if you have a question that says, like, what is, and I'll use a number lower than 100 for the first one. What is 50% of 100? So really, really basic numbers. What's 50% of 100? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to convert this into a decimal, which is 0.5. Then how we solve this questions is I take that decimal, 0.25, and I multiply it by the number that I have. So it's very basic. It's your decimal times by your number, and that is going to represent that percentage or that decimal of that, and that actually works out to be 50. So half or 50% of 100 is 50, the number. Please remember that your answer is in a number, it's not in a percentage. So if we take a bigger number like 210, okay, and let's say we want to find 210% of 123, okay? So that means like there could be, we had 123 people show up on a Saturday, and then all of a sudden on Sunday we had 210% more show up. So it's still that same thing. I have to convert this into a decimal, which I learned up here, okay? So I take my 210, which is going to end up being 2.1, and I simply take 2.1, which is my decimal. I multiply it by my number, which is 123, and that is going to give me my answer. So I will actually pull up my calculator, because yes, some people have to use calculators. And so that is 2.1 times 123 equals 258.